After my first successful con, I was looking for lightning to strike twice. The second G-Pop came up, and today I'm going to show you what my sales were, how I did, and the different types of products that I sold today on Moment Does Art. The next G-Pop I did was May 11th and 12th. The guy running it, Blaine, again, awesome guy, he decided to condense it to just 2 days. Some people said that maybe having it 3 days was just a little bit too long for that. Unfortunately, he decided to make it Saturday, Sunday, where if you watched my previous video, you would have seen that Sunday was absolutely dead. So a Friday, Saturday would have been better, but I didn't really have that data to show him at that point. Still, I woke up on May 11th and there were a lot of fires in the region, so it kind of looked like a hellscape outside. I'm talking, this was Blade Runner 2000 weather. Orange sky, terrible, hawking up a lung as just the smoke was god-awful terrible. I was expecting the worst possible, but I ended up doing almost the same as the first G-Pop. Now, around this time, I had a second issue to do. I had a little bit more merch going on, so I had some limited edition prints I was starting to sell. As well, there was some excitement with me being on one of the podcasts they had there, and the year was 1985, a really cool podcast. If you want to check that out, I'm going to include a little link down below so you can have a listen to all of their stuff. Really great guys, both from East Coast, and man, could they rant a good one. They were also selling some trading cards at G-Pop, so that was pretty cool. The guys themselves, they were really kick-ass, so I was great for that. Slightly different people that were there. I heard some different things from different friends who actually sold a lot better at the second one than they did the previous one. So, I was really happy for them. I was hoping that I was going to do a little bit better since you didn't have all the busyness of what was going on, but it turns out they actually had a trading card convention on the other side of town the same day. So, that kind of took away from people because you can't compete with Pokemon. Getting right to the numbers, showing you how I did. Gross sales, 552. I'd say that was pretty darn good. Just $50 shy of what I did with the first ones, but this was great. At this con, I had issue 1 and issue 2 for my comics, so a little bit more going on. Plus, I made the table look way better. I kind of figured out some better ways to actually present the table. So looking at these pictures compared to what I had before, much better presentation. I was quite happy with that. And still, I'm not making bajillions of money here, but $550 is nothing to scoff at for 2 days. Because thinking about it, I made $600 over 3 days. This means I actually made more money per day. If you admit the fact that I made nothing on the previous Sunday, it's pretty cool when you think about it that way. Next slide, though, I wanted to show you was how the sales actually were in terms of throughout the day and how they went. So the first day, the Saturday, things really didn't start until noon, and it wasn't until 2 o'clock that things really took off. That's when I was making the most sales happening, and then it really died down for dinner time, and then a couple of people came in the evening. So the majority of the sales were on the first day, the Saturday, but I want to show you the breakdown. So with this, you have most of it was going to be the packs. Packs were the big seller. A few people bought the comics. Now, you can ignore the little sale there for book. That was my friend Dustin Archibald, who forgot to bring a card reader to that con. But if reading some science fiction is your thing, I'm going to provide a link for his stuff down below. So, go and check that guy out. Now, the next day, for Sunday, better performing than the Sunday of the previous G-Pop, where I made no sales. Again, not until afternoon, 1 o'clock now it hits instead of 12. So a slower start and a much slower ending. So there was almost a full 2 hours of nothing happening. And not until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, then poof, dead. Sunday just doesn't seem to be the best day whatsoever. Only doing 135 for sales that day. And looking at the distribution, it was nothing but packs. Now, Looking at the payments from this, very similar to the previous G-Pop. Again, they don't have a cash machine there, and they were really pushing cash, cash, cash. Bring cash, bring cash. But looky. Again, cards were primary. They got 51% there. So there were more purchases with cards than cash. So even when it's being promoted as bringing cash, people are going to be paying with cards. Majorities through Interac. So these are people that weren't relying on their credit cards. They were still paying with their debit card instead. But this was interesting. If you remember what I was showing you there for Sunday was all packs. This is the sale particularly for Sunday. The card cash distribution. It was all card. Pretty much 77, almost 78% of the purchases were with card on Sunday. I don't know if it's a causation or correlation, but something tells me that something was preventing them from using cash on Sunday. Maybe they spent it all the previous night at the bar. Maybe they'd already spent all their money throughout the weekend, and now they were relying on card. It was still Interac that was the primary suspect over credit card. But something told me that, okay, they just don't have cash on hand Sunday. Could have been stragglers, just, last minute people coming into the con that weren't prepared for it or anything. But I think that's kind of good information to at least keep in mind. Don't rely on cash entirely, but don't dismiss it whatsoever. Always have your change ready, and but be prepared for the cards. So with this, I had to make some changes on the type of packages that I had available. I had a little bit more variety with those, so that for people that didn't already have issue 2, I made a package specifically for that, and I made packages that were catch-up for everyone. I think that really contributed to, despite it being quieter because it was a post-apocalypse scenario outside with all the wildfires that were going on, I was still able to achieve some half-decent sales. And I think that's because the packs that I had were encouraging people to spend a little bit more because, now you have issue 1 and 2, a pack with all the posters, the trading cards, the buttons, all that stuff. We're all kind of in those packs. So I really want to emphasize how important thinking up those really good packages are. And I do want to actually do a video separately that really dives into the types of packages I do and why they work, the psychology of why they work, at least according to Momin, why they work. So this is all food for thought. And I hope that looking at these numbers, you can reflect and say, hey, you know what, maybe just be a comic book. And yeah, I've got to do some selling and I got to hustle, but it's getting people to read your comic. For me, it's not so much about the money. The money's to sustain and keep the comic going, pay for the printing. I'm just so happy that people get to read my comic. And I hope that's what's really your initiative for wanting to do comics. It's not going to love you back with money, but it's really going to be a great expression to yourself, and you're going to have a lot of fun doing that. This goes with any type of art. Do the art for yourself. Get good at the cons, not specifically just to make money, but to share what you have. And that passion is going to show to other people. If you're just trying to make money, that's going to show. If you're trying to get people to be introduced to your art and to what you're doing, they're going to see that as well. Always remember that when you're giving your pitches. Anyways, I'm going to talk to you later, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about what I feel is important when it comes to making packages. That'll be in the next video. Until then, peace, Grease.